There's something strange about people who think deeply, not because they're wrong, but because they see what others choose to ignore. History has always treated such minds in a peculiar way. Figures like Socrates questioned everything and paid the price. Galileo Galilei challenged accepted truths and was silenced. Nikola Tesla imagined the future and died misunderstood. It makes you wonder, why does society resist the very people who push it forward? The answer isn't as simple as ignorance. It's something far more uncomfortable. Think about this. When you meet someone physically strong, you admire them. When someone is wealthy, you may even feel inspired or envious, but not threatened. But intelligence is different. When you encounter someone who thinks more deeply than you, it doesn't just impress you, it unsettles you. Because intelligence doesn't sit outside of you, it reflects something back at you. It quietly asks, have you really thought this through? And that question alone is enough to make people uncomfortable. This is because intelligence is tied to identity. We don't just have thoughts, we become our thoughts, our beliefs, our opinions, our understanding of the world. They form the core of who we are. So when someone challenges those ideas, it doesn't feel like a disagreement. It feels like a disruption of the self. And the human mind is designed to protect itself. Psychologists often talk about biases like the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people with less knowledge overestimate their understanding, while those who know more tend to question themselves. Or the Backfire effect, where people, when faced with opposing evidence, don't change their beliefs. They strengthen them. This isn't stupidity, it's self-defense. Because for most of human history, survival didn't depend on being right. It depended on belonging. To be accepted by the group meant safety. To be rejected meant danger. So our brains evolved to favor agreement over truth, comfort over complexity, familiarity over depth. Now imagine what happens when someone walks into that environment and starts thinking differently. They don't just bring new ideas, they disrupt the invisible balance of the group. Suddenly, conversations feel heavier, assumptions feel unstable, certainty begins to crack. And people don't always respond with curiosity. They respond with resistance, not openly, but subtly. They change the topic, they dismiss the idea. They label the person as too intense or overthinking. And slowly, without anyone saying it directly, the message becomes clear: don't go too deep. This is why many deep thinkers feel isolated, not because they lack social skills, but because their way of seeing the world doesn't easily fit into everyday conversations. In fact, there's another paradox at play. In social settings, confidence is often valued more than truth. People are drawn to certainty, even when it's shallow. Simple answers spread faster than complex ones. Clear opinions feel more convincing than nuanced thinking. This is especially true today. Platforms like YouTube and Instagram reward content that is quick, emotional, and easy to consume. Deep ideas, on the other hand, take time. They require patience, reflection, and in a world that moves fast, depth often gets left behind. So where does that leave the person who genuinely wants to understand things? Philosophers like Arthur Schopenhauer believed this creates a kind of inner conflict. He argued that most people are driven by comfort, the pursuit of pleasure, stability, and familiarity. But some individuals develop something different, a need not just to live, but to understand, a pull toward truth even when it's inconvenient. And that's where the divide begins. Because truth is not always comforting. It doesn't always make life easier. In fact, it often does the opposite. The more clearly you see the world, the harder it becomes to ignore its contradictions. The more you question, the less satisfied you become with simple answers. And the more you understand people, the harder it can be to fully relate to them, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. You begin to notice things others overlook, patterns in behavior, unspoken motivations, the gap between what people say and what they truly mean. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the real question is not, why are intelligent people rejected? But rather, can deep thinking and belonging truly coexist? Maybe the answer isn't to think less, but to express more carefully, to understand that truth without empathy creates distance, and intelligence without connection becomes isolation. Because in the end, it's not just about seeing clearly, it's about helping others see, without making them feel blind.